Hey, it's Kat at Kattalestv, and I'm going to do a little deep dive on the P. Diddy situation and some of the coincidences that have been going on, but I need to look on my phone. Anyway, Erica Kennedy, who was a music writer, and she worked for Sean Puffy Combs, and also, I forgot who the other person she worked for. But anyway, she's dead. But, she wrote the book Bling. And it was a very successful book. It was on the New York bestsellers list. And, it's very difficult to get the book now, but one of the things that I noticed when I was researching the word pimp, I found it very interesting because pimps like bling. They like to be showy, they like to be ostentatious, they like to peacock their success and their power over women, and they do that by like jeweling things, whether it be a cup or a cane. But I also happened to find a picture of Diddy with Cassie. She's literally squatting down on the ground, and he's wearing a fur jacket, and he has a silver cane. And I was thinking to myself, wow, he has this whole pimp mentality thing going on. But that's rap. Rap is based on like that pimping, brutalizing women, making jokes about gang rape, calling each other bitch and hoe, and a lot of derogatory names. But anyway, it's just crazy. You know what I mean? You don't realize things sometimes until, I don't know, you start really thinking. I gotta go back in the light, sorry. But that's another thing, is all of us need to go back into the light. We need to stop being naive and realize that the rap game, which I call short for rape, the rap game was created to pretty much destroy culture. And what I mean by that is, it may have started off, hip-hop had a different vibe to it, and rap became more brutalized, more dangerous in my mind, in the sense of a lot of the music, not all, is very derogatory. It's just very derogatory and brutal. And in my mind, it's very similar to art of war tactics of just letting your enemy destroy themselves. And rap was extremely, and is extremely profitable. So even when I'm out and about in LA, or even in New York, and even if I'm at the beach, there's people blaring really offensive lyrics. And I just feel like there's such a dissonance of like being conscious of what we're actually listening to and what's actually accepted. And I just wish people took a moment to think about some of the lyrics and some of the imagery that we are being gagged with right now. or force-fed is a better word. Whether it be, what's her name, Sexy Red, dancing around before pregnant, bragging about needing a new daddy for her baby, and then being the raw dog queen, and then getting pregnant, but also doing a porn video, and that it leaking on Twitter when you're not even looking for it. You're minding your own business and they just throw it up there. And also, change the subject totally, but I feel like Twitter was bought by Elon just so the Democrats definitely lose the next election with Trump. So let's go to the definition of pimp. I need to fix my phone because it's doing weird stuff right now. I think it doesn't like the sun, so it went hard to read. Let's see if I can find it. Alright. Pimp, P-I-M-P. Now, a man who controls prostitutes and arranges clients for them, taking part of their earnings in return. Now this is hilarious because I don't know what it is about Google on your phone compared to Google when you're looking on your computer. Sometimes it doesn't have the same information. Because if you go to my Twitter feed at Kattalestv, that's K-A-T-T-A-L-E-S TV, I did a whole thing about pimp, the word pimp, and what it means. The other, pimp as a verb, is to act as a pimp. And they use this as an example. He was a good-looking guy, and some said he pimped on the side. Another definition of the verb, informal, makes something more showy or impressive. He pimped up the car with spoilers and twin-spoke 18-inch alloys. Again, they are totally screwing up the definition on this Google thing that I'm reading. But what is pimp behavior? The relationship can be abusive and possessive, with the pimp using techniques such as psychological intimidation, manipulation, starvation, rape and or gang rape, beating, confinement, threats of violence towards the victim's family, forced drug use, and the shame from these acts to keep the sexually exploited person under their control. I'm assuming the definition stopped on my phone, so I just put the last part in there. But getting back to that photograph that I found of P. Diddy, and I'll post it in this video. Him wearing the fur coat with the silver cane, and Cassie on her knees, squatting. Squatting's a better word. And he's showing ownership. In my opinion, Cassie, I gotta go back in the light, sorry. Is it gonna find me? Light. Yes. Cassie has Diddy dead to rights. Now there's rumors that besides there being other victors, Freudian slip, because I want them to be victors. Besides other victims, survivors coming forward, both men and women, allegedly Cassie is going to be doing an interview with both Gayle King and Oprah. And she doesn't have an NDA, allegedly, because Diddy signed that settlement so quick that it gave her the option to do whatever the hell she wanted to do, which is very clever. And she's got a very amazing lawyer. who's pretty much doing a class action lawsuit. He puts everybody together to go against all the companies that helped Diddy do what he did for so long. But in the definition of a pimp, in my opinion, that's what Diddy was, that's what he did, and they have him. They have him. And they have anyone that was a part of his gang-related activity, and in my opinion, this should be handled under the RICO Act, which has penalties like 3 times the normal amount. Also, Diddy should be in jail, in my opinion, and he may still be put to, in jail, depending on if they file criminal charges against him in the cities and states that he sex trafficked all these people. Now, this video will probably be demonetized because you can't say adult words like sex trafficking and rape on YouTube without being severely punished. So please, do a super thanks or like this video, or, if you want to see more content like this, having adult conversation, let me know in the comments. And if you have any other information that you want to share, please put it in the comments. I'm really busy right now doing a bunch of things, so I apologize if I'm not responding fast enough to some of the comments. Somebody did something. Oh, before I do that, let me do the 4 types of pimps. You have, and it's a guide to understanding sex trafficking. You have the Romeo pimp, who tries to act really sweet and kind and romantic at first. And you have the gorilla pimp. You have the CEO pimp, and you have the familia trafficking. Let's see if I can find the better definitions of these. So you can Google sex trafficking, definitions of sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is the commercial sexual exploitation of women and children. Boys and men are also at risk. And that's the other thing. A lot of people think it's cool to go, oh, these women are money grabbing and they got what they deserved. No, not necessarily. And also, there's a lot of men and boys involved in this. Anyway, I'm thinking about Usher because allegedly Usher was going to have P. Diddy perform with him at the Super Bowl, but allegedly Usher turned that down and said it was going to be triggering. But I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know if he was as honest as that rumor is, but, I don't know why anyone would still be friends with P. Diddy if they were sexually abused by them as a teenager and sleeping in his bed at 10 or 14. I don't know the exact age, but he was a young boy. But what's crazy about P. Diddy and Usher, and also the Justin Bieber situation, there's videos where Justin, I think, is 14. I don't know the age of Usher when he was sleeping in the same bed of P. Diddy, but he was a teenager. And my whole thing with that is, anybody else, it wouldn't be acceptable. For some reason, P. Diddy, it was okay. But these are the definitions and the actions of a pedo. So anyway, let's say traffickers transport girls and women across national and regional borders, turning them out into prostitution in places where their victims are least able to resist and where there is the greatest demand for them. Local brothels, strip clubs are common destinations for traffickers and are critical to their financial success. Victims are usually given a daily financial quota of approximately $500, always given to the trafficker. Escort services are another avenue that provides a springboard for prostitution. Pornography fuels sex trafficking and vice versa. The demand for sex grows online, so does the sex industry as a whole, increasing the need to victimize more and more of our community's most vulnerable members. If someone is tricked, manipulated, or coerced into producing porn, that is considered sex trafficking. So there we go. Cassie was, based on the definition, sex trafficking. Because he videotaped her. And he also, those pictures and videos were given out to different people to get men like 50 Cent and other men like into what Diddy was doing. Oh my God. So let's get back to types of traffickers. A trafficker can be anyone, not just the boogeyman portrayed in media such as the Taken franchise or the creepy man in a white van. A trafficker could be your boyfriend or girlfriend, your football coach, or even your church local pastor. They can be found recruiting in a variety of settings, including schools, R. Kelly, courthouses, foster homes, bus station, bars, restaurants, shopping malls. Oh, by the way, when I first came to LA, I took the bus a lot. And I'll never forget, I was on Sunset Boulevard at a bus stop. I think it was like early afternoon. I don't know if it was like early afternoon, but it was dark. Because it probably was like in the winter or something. Some guy rolled up and rolled down the window and was like, "Hey, if I was your man, you wouldn't be waiting for a bus." And he was like trying to get me to get in the car. And I was like, I didn't do anything. I just ignored his stupid ass. But yeah, it can happen. So if you're a person sitting at a bus stop and somebody's trying to chat you up, don't get in that car. Anyway, let's get back to this. In most cases, there are 4 types of traffickers involved in sex trafficking. These are Romeo pimp, gorilla pimp, CEO pimp, and familial trafficking. A pimp may generally operate as one type of pimp, but utilize aspects of another type. Romeo pimp manipulates victims into compliance by using affection, charm, or romantic affection. And I'm skipping so I can get through this. The grooming time is used by Romeo pimps to isolate the victim and make them codependent, exposing the victim's vulnerabilities that can be used against them for control. The relationship typically takes a dark turn when the Romeo pimp asks the victim to dance in a strip club or engage in prostitution in order to make money to support their life together. At this point, the relationship includes extreme psychological manipulation as well as the possibility of physical violence, which is introduced to control the victim. This type of trafficking is especially coercive because the victim is trapped not only physically but emotionally. And they can't leave. Financially dependent on the person. Gorilla pimp. A gorilla pimp is the opposite of a Romeo in that no stage love or affection is involved. Instead, women, or I'm going to put men in this, are recruited and trapped in sex trafficking through routine violence. It's made clear that a victim's job is to turn tricks on the street or dancing clubs, and failure to do so will result in severe consequences, usually resulting in physical and sexual abuse. And it makes sense. A Romeo pimp could slowly transform into a gorilla pimp. And when it comes to some of Diddy's male victims, it seems like he was more of a gorilla pimp when it came to the person that said he was attacked at Howard, not Harvard. Okay, let's go with the CEO pimp. On the other end of the spectrum, the CEO pimp promises victims lucrative careers and legitimate income. The CEO pimps run things in an entrepreneurial manner, focusing on profit and good business management, just like a legitimate business. They see sexploitation as a business plan, with victims serving as their products. They typically recruit their victims by offering them a job, such as modeling contract. This relationship, like the previous types of traffickers, then descends into sexual exploitation and abuse even as a trafficker promotes it as a life of luxury. This is referred to as trauma bonding, a form of coercive control in which traffickers instill fear as well as gratitude for being allowed to live. That sounds like Justin Bieber if you watch that video where he's 14 and Diddy's got his arm around his neck and says he's going to be with him for 48 hours. Jesus Christ. Familial trafficking. Many commercially exploited children in the United States have been sexually abused in the home. Statistics show that 27% of sex trafficking cases reported in the United States National Human Trafficking Hotline in 2018 were cases of familial trafficking. As with all sex trafficking cases, it is frequently misidentified as child abuse or rape. The scant research on familial trafficking suggests a wide prevalence ranging from 3% to 44% of child trafficking cases. Unlike previous types of trafficking, children exploited by family members may be abused at home but are still driven to buyer locations and taken to parties and venues where sexual abuse of children is a part of the experience. Oh my God. Facilitators. Traffickers frequently rely on facilitators to conduct their illicit business. These are individuals who knowingly or unknowingly provide traffickers with goods or services. These actions are critical to the success of sex trafficking operation. So I'm going to stop right there. Yeah, and I'm sorry if this is triggering. It's triggering for me to read this stuff and these people. But the facilitators were the record companies, the bodyguards, all the people around Diddy that knew what was going on and stood by or whatever. But yeah, but really the entertainment industry, and it's not just the only industry, you know, exploitation is a real thing. Excuse me. So, I hope you guys do your own research. You know, I just know, I'm an adult, but I've worked in Hollywood for a very long time, and all I can say is, besides sometimes it's a very disgusting place the way people treat each other, but I can tell you some of the casting directors, females, knew that some of these directors were predators, and they would say and try to convince me that, oh, you have to have a meeting with him, you know, after 6 because you know, he's working all day and that's the only time he can see you for the audition. Hopefully none of you will have to go through that bullshit. Now the information is out and the secrets are coming out, and that's what's really important, is like telling your story and letting people know what's happening. I think the most positive thing about the courageous actions of Cassie as well as the other people coming forward is the truth is out. Part of the truth anyway, but at least the conversation has started, and that's extremely important and extremely positive, and change is going to happen. Sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it moves faster, but I feel like at least we're on the right path. But I want to reiterate this. The actions of Diddy were in our faces for so long, and no one did anything. The video of Usher, Kevin Hart, and Diddy in that hotel room, and him slipping that they used to wake up together and share cereal, that's not normal. Also, the video with Justin Bieber is not normal. And based on the definitions of how he showed him the car, he promised him a house. This was a kid who was singing on the street. That's what pimps do. They're not just those flashy guys in those black exploitation movies, or those guys you see in Figueroa, Every Green Moon. But they change their clothing. They're not as obvious on the street as they are in business. But a lot of people are going to be affected by this cases, and again, I feel like a lot of these female rappers, Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion, Little Kim, it's going to be real interesting to find out Nicki Minaj, if they'll ever tell the story of what it was like for them when they started. Nicki said she didn't have to sleep with any of the guys in the record crew she was in. I hope that's true. The rest of them, it doesn't look like that. I mean, I don't know. It looks sketchy as F. And the other thing is, once you're abused, it's easy to abuse other people. I'm in the darkness again. I'm not in light. Sorry. Hello? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Watch my other videos. But also, we need to talk about things like this so it doesn't happen to other people. But again, this is important change. This is Kat at Kattalestv. Take care of yourself and be light. Like, don't enjoy listening to abusive music, watching abusive content. A lot of this is our responsibility because we think it's funny to watch people get assaulted on Sexy Red videos or concerts or World Star Hip Hop. It just seems like literally brainwashing generations of people to do damage, and that's just disgusting. There's not videos showing people how to love each other, how to raise their children better, how to have better communication, how to resolve conflict. If we had at least a portion of the time and energy spent on all this negativity with like positive role models, deep conversations, I think the world would be a better place. I'm going to do what I can to add some value, you know, but I'm not into what I've seen promoted in any way, shape, or form. Alright? The negativity and the girl bashing and making fun of people because they're not whores. That's insane. How much abuse can a person have who is making fun of women who actually work for a living and aren't prostitutes? How twisted can a person be? You know, calling people broke. If you're rich because you had to spread your legs to a bunch of guys, or you sold other people so you can have designer Balenciaga, you're not even on my league. I find you disgusting. And I'm using Balenciaga just as an example, but just because you got fancy clothes doesn't make you a good person. I'd rather be a good person any day and have actual talent. Anyway, thanks guys and ladies. I should say gentlemen and ladies. And I will talk to you later.